Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Just Read VI and I am back with another video. New scene, new book. It's been months, but I am back and I am super happy to be back, you guys. It's been quite some time and I missed you guys, but I've been super busy with like a bunch of different projects and I am back today. I was planning on coming back eventually to do a recap of my books in October. So October was already going to be a month that I was going to come back, but Jada Pinkett Smith released this book, and I had to take the opportunity to review it. That now, mind you, this is a one book review video because she deserves her own moment. Obviously, you see, she's had 10 million moments for the past 2-3 years. It's been so ridiculous. But I shout out to Raquel for suggesting that. She was like, you have to review that book. You have to. And Leah for checking in and always like, checking in with me and saying, you finished the book yet? You finished the book yet? Because, I tell some of my friends that I'm going to be reviewing this book because, wow. With a train wreck that's been happening in Hanwell life, to have releasing this book, it kind of was like, oh my gosh, who reading this book? You have to review this book. It's just a great opportunity. But I have to say, I was a slow reader for this book, which many of you might be like, really? Like, well, those of you that know that I love to read, the readers, will be like, wow, why? Because it was dumb. That's why. This book was trash. Let's start there. Sadly, this book was just trash. It was all over the place, and she had way too much fluff in there. She brought in other people's issues and their stories, and some of that was relevant. Let's start from the top. Let's start from the beginning. So she starts off with, her childhood with her grandparents being in her life, along with her dad, his struggle with alcoholism, drugs, her mom as well. And that was a touching side of the story, I will admit, but she just makes everything about her. She's a classic narcissist. And it was just like every time I read something and I kind of felt touched, she would follow it up with something that was just so ridiculous and like didn't have any meaning towards what she was trying to say. So it was just annoying. But it was touching to learn about where she came from. I could see why she is such a confused, delusional, and narcissistic individual. And that might sound really harsh for me to say, but if you read this book, which I don't recommend you to do, let's just start here. Let me tell you, I give this book 2 out of 5 stars. It was terrible. There were moments and quotes that I liked, and I was like, wow, okay, you could get a star for that. Hence why I say 2 to 3 stars at max. I think 2 stars is really appropriate. But at max, at best for this book. I have my Kindle here, so I was highlighting a few things that I can go over quotes to just kind of show you guys what was up. Oh boy, yeah, it was just. I have to tell you guys, it just wasn't. It just wasn't it. While these come up. She spoke about Tupac. So I started from the top with where she was a child and she was growing up with drug abuse parents, but she had a lot of respect for her grandparents. So she really loved her grandmothers, and she loved her grandfather on her father's side because she just felt like he protected her, and she had decent enough grandparents. Her parents made it tough. She pretty much made it seem like she was in the street. She sold drugs, which I didn't know she was a drug dealer at one point in time. She spoke about her relationship with Tupac. I'm gonna make this a dreadful long review because I really could if I go through every quote that I had from the book that I just was like that I highlighted that I was like, wow. So she spoke about her relationship with Tupac, which everybody is over. We're all over this experience that she went through with him and everything. It was touching at the beginning when they met, and she spoke about that. But of course, she just lies so much. It was hard to tell what was the truth and genuine, and then what was lies. And yes, I don't know this lady, but I mean, based on the urge for her to be reaching so much for press about this book, about just bashing her husband, we could start there. It just was terrible. So she speaks about him and how he had alopecia as well, and we didn't know. We didn't know this. Nobody knew this. It wasn't something he talked about. He shaved his head, and that was that. It occurred when he was beaten and then sent to jail at one point. So that's what she said. Now, do we know if that's true? I guess we will never really know. But she said that, and she just spoke about their closeness, which was admirable. She said that he proposed through a letter. It would have been nice if that letter was put in the book so that we would be able to really know that he did that, because I'm sure she has the letter if it was real. And he proposed to her, and she said it was just his cling to her while he was in jail so that he could feel like he had something solid for when he gets out. She said obviously she refused it, and from there she's acting. She's really pushing an acting career. She meets Will, doesn't like Will, thinks Will is corny. This is very telling for where we are currently and where their relationship / marriage, I feel like I have to do air quotes for marriage because it ain't a real marriage, I don't know what it is currently. And then to them dating, to him asking her to be on the show. I think she was on the show one episode, but he wanted her to be his girlfriend, and she said no. She felt like being his girlfriend was just too much. Being a solid person on the show was too much. She didn't want to be sucked in and tied down into anything. Fast forwarding to her meeting him again and again, a few times, and then finally him calling her while he was still married, and her mom was like, hang up the phone, I'm not married, to him being divorced or going through his divorce and calling her and trying to be in a relationship with her. So that at that point, he pursued her. She was happy. She said he seemed to be way more deep and spoke about the world and things happening, and just on a deeper level that she, appreciated, which was interesting. Fast forward to her getting pregnant and him demanding her to get married, pretty much because, he's a solid dude. And into their marriage and all, I fast forwarding because I could see this going to be like quite a bit. Fast forward into them being married, she realizes that, she didn't want to be married. This is at the wedding, like prior to the wedding, leading up to the wedding. She didn't want a wedding, a big wedding. She didn't want to get married. She was unsure. Yes, she's pregnant, but she's like, is this the right thing? Blase, blase. This is the part that really was like, okay, I get it now. So his attorney said, maybe you should have this lady sign a prenup. She goes, if I'm gonna sign a prenup, that's saying that I don't love you and you don't love me and we don't trust each other. Mind you, you basically have been telling this man you don't really know if you want to marry him. So why wouldn't he want you to sign a prenup? It's just weird. So he said, okay. She said, this is our trust. This is our commitment to each other, stating that we're gonna stick this out. So she married him, and she didn't sign a prenup, and that's why they've been married all this time, separated, living as a mess. This is why. I was like, wow, that makes so much sense now. So you feel bad, and she even said it, you feel bad walking away or divorcing this person because of the situation with the prenup in his mom's backyard. You knew after talking to him such in depth and giving him your word that you really want to marry him and you love him, you're going to divorce him. So instead of doing that, they decide to do something way messier, which is create an open marriage, or what does she call it? What's that word that people use? A place of transparency. So they're transparent with each other and sharing what they do, who they do it with. They don't really ask for permission. They're just talking to each other and letting them know, hey, you're interested in this person, because she calls this being real in her current situation. So because they're both actors, he and he's in the limelight, she's in the limelight. There have been situations where she said she walked in a room and she felt the sexual tension from different men, and she didn't want to fall from her goodness as a wife and being committed, and she knew that being realistic, her words, he may fall as well. So she said, I just being real, and we came to this moment, we had this conversation, We weren't in a happy place. I spoke to him and he said, this is what we're at now. Where we're at now, we'll work on us being better and being more committed and connected at a later date. Once again, I'm not sure if that's those words, that man's words, because he's the one that says he want publicly on several occasions, different talk shows, he's wanted to be married since he was 5. He knew that he wanted to be married. He said after his first divorce, he knew he never wanted to do that again. So that probably is what kept him saying, okay, I'm gonna stay married. But this is the craziest part. With him agreeing to be a part of this situation, as she's saying, open marriage, she says it's way more in depth than we realize. And she said that it's transparency. It's about the transparency. So here, I guess, agreed. And they've been doing whatever they want to do since 2016. Hence why she was shocked at the whole big corruption by him. Well, the big confusion when she was sleeping with August Alsina and when he slapped Chris Rock on stage. Of course, she said that he was dealing with this this is things he was dealing with on his own. Like I said, this book was you listening and you probably this just was a bunch of confusion going on in this book, just a bunch of confusion. Tupac want to marry her. She, drug addiction with her parents, her being in the streets. I feel like she played up the street life way more than it was. Like I said, a lot of fluff was added in this book. So it was really annoying. And this book took me a long time to finish reading. I think this book took me about 2 weeks because I put this book down, pick it up, put this book down, pick it up. It was just ridiculous. So moving on. So she speaks about the holy slap, as she calls it, with Chris Rock and Will Smith. And, she spoke about the whole situation with how the beef with Chris Rock, she thought they were past it. She made apologies because, at some award ceremony, she was boycotting. I think it was the Oscars at one point. She was boycotting it, and he was the person that was going to be hosting. So she said some disparaging comments. A lot of people were dragging her because they were like, you just mad because your husband ain't up for nomination. She thought that more black actors should have been listed. I don't think anywhere. So she posted her opinions and he posted his comments. Chris Rock, he's a comedian, so he made jokes about it. Now, how she handles the situation with Will is just so sad because this person is your husband. When you get married, you and this person become one. This is it. You vowing to God and the person is standing at the altar with you that this is going to be it. And then you're going off kilter and doing all this weird stuff, saying these negative things about your husband, just throwing him out there for the wolves and having no accountability within yourself. She spoke about how she felt bad that she felt like she's always thrown herself under the bus. For example, the red table talk. She said that, unfortunately, so she was thrown under the bus because she and Will had an open marriage. So with that being said, she's like, why did I fall on the sword? And he definitely played it up too, she said. He played it up. We didn't know that man knew that she was allowed to do and be with who she wanted to be with. Who knew that? He was doing what he wanted to do too. Allegedly, according to her words, they were in an open marriage. Now, mind you, this guy has not come out once and verified and acknowledged and agreed to these statements that she's made. But I think they really wanted to keep it private. But it's why? With August Alsina, that was a big hit. They should have then decided, listen, let's just tell the world that we in an open marriage so that this don't look crazy. Why was Smith crying? She even spoke about saying that his eyes were tired because his eyes were tired because his eyes looked weepy because he was tired and he has water all the time. And I'm like, is this a lie, Jada? Is this true? I just don't know. I could believe it because if they both agreed to be in an open marriage, why go online and why go do the video, film and lie and then continue to lie? And then why say, that's why I start talking about my wife and slap somebody. Well, this person is your wife, yes, but she for everybody because she out doing her own thing, you all doing your own thing. What's the difference? Why does it matter? It's weird. Before I forget, I have to touch on the witchcraft that she was dabbling in. She went to see a witch lady or somebody that wasn't witchcraft, She went to see her and she speaks about the situation and how that whole thing went, and it was just very disturbing This is a big reason why I wouldn't recommend reading this book, because I honestly feel like if I can review a book, I have to read it. I feel like you can't give a review on a book you don't read 100%. Sadly, on my part, I had to finish this book, right? But she speaks about this situation, and it's so disturbing how she drank this thing, and she had these weird feelings and these dark dreams, and then she wakes up the next day, and then she drinks it again, because the lady would tell her nice time to go, and she was like, no, I can't go home to my kids like this. I can't put whatever's on me on my kids. I feel like I was just dancing with the devil. This is this lady's words. This is crazy, right? So she takes the serum again, and she has this whole enlightening experience, and she's seeing whiteness, and she feels like this is the savior, and she's now cleansed, and she feels so much lighter. And I'm like, yo, don't bring God into this foolishness. It was just terrible and very disrespectful. So that was probably the most disturbing part of this book. I have to tell you, it was just terrible. And moving back into, I had to put her in because I had completely forgotten about her. Moving back into Chris Rock and the slap and Will Smith. She said her concern was Will. So she said she wasn't concerned about herself, of course. My concern was Will. I can't tell his story of why he did what he did, but I can tell you it had everything to do with Will's own personal battles, which unfolded on a world stage. We saw. And what I knew for the first time in 6 years since our breakup was that I would stand with him in the storm as his wife. No matter what. I had not felt that way in a long time. I would not abandon him, nor would I fight his fight for him like I had tried to do so many times in the past. This fight was his. Are you? What? What do you mean you're going to abandon him? Are you constantly, dehumanized and defamed this man on multiple attempts? Coming out and saying that Tupac wanted you to be his fiancé, wanted to marry you. Coming out and saying that you feel like I was soulmates, just not sexually. You married. Mind you, you're married. This man been fighting a dead man for since the time he knew you. Well, when he knew you, he wasn't dead at the time. She spoke about all of that too. Finding out that he passed, and Suge Knight delivering the ashes to her. And I was like, why would Suge Knight bring you his ashes? That's very strange. Like I said, just had so many strange things. She said he smirked at her, and she just knew Suge Knight was the reason for Tupac's death. And she's just saying all this stuff, and it's just like, how she was taking care of his mom at one point, because he said, don't worry about me, don't try to get me out of jail, just worry about my mom and take care and help pay the bills and do, take care of her for me. That's one thing that I can't currently do. So that's something she said she helped with. But the ashes really blew me. I was like, why are you? That could be true. I don't know. It's just all weird, and it just seems very attention-seeking. And she brings Tupac up so much because he's not here anymore. He can't say whether the stuff he's saying is true or false. You know what I mean? Apparently, her mom and his mom knows that he proposed. So, his mom ain't gonna come out. She was giving his mom money and taking care of her, which I'm sure she's doing for her mom. So why would they come out and say that's a lie? So I just don't know. I just don't know how to feel about any of it. She spoke about, trying to look for more quotes. She basically saying that Will was suffering. Will was dealing with a bunch of things on his own that she ain't in control of and can't talk about as to why he did this slap. And it's just like, leave that man alone. Like, we're tired of you bashing a man and making him seem like a weirdo. You're the weirdo. The jury's back. You're the weirdo. We've all voted, and we've deemed you to be the weirdo that goes to demons to be delivered, and goes to this, dabbles in witchcraft. She's spoken at it on multiple attempts. She even speak with him going, and I'm like, will you come from a solid Christian background? Why are you doing this with this lady? Yes, that's and why you even marry her? Like, well, we have a real question for you. Why you marry Jada? Like, what did you see in that lady that made you want to marry her? Because from the beginning, it seems like she was weird. When she spoke about you guys' love story, I was like, why you want to marry somebody that's acting like this, saying these things, she was disrespectful to your ex-wife. She didn't understand family for a while. She, yes, had some Christian, like her dad's parents were Christians, but they were also alcoholics. So it's kind of like, you didn't really have anything solid, Jada, and it shows. You know, the whole book, especially coming towards the end where she's talking about what her kids are doing in life. Not like we care. I'm not saying I don't care. You spoke about raising them, which is fine. That's part of your life. But why are you talking about things that they're doing as adults? That's not in your book worthy. It shouldn't be in your book. You know, and at the end it's just, she was just trying to tie in the whole worthy thing and not realizing she's at this stage. She has her crown now, and it was just ridiculous. Like, honestly, I read a book for IU. I read a book for IU to review it. Honestly, I would have stopped reading that book a long time ago. I wanted to get to the Will Smith part 2, I'm not gonna lie. The Tupac part I couldn't care less about because the lies, I just don't know what to decipher what from what. So I didn't know where we were going with the Tupac stuff, where other than their friendship, I knew that part was probably genuine and truthful. But as far as the other stuff that she was bringing in, I was like, I don't even know. But that's my review, you guys. I give this book 2 or 3. I think I rated it already on Goodreads. 2 or 3 out of 5 stars. I can't talk. And that's that. You know, you could stay tuned. Go on my Instagram. I'm gonna be posting all my reviews for this month. I had a nice month of reading until this book, but it's over, so I can't wait to get back to the books that I like, the holiday reads. Stay tuned. November is coming up soon, and I can't wait to start reading my December reads and do a video of those, because my holiday reads, I should say. I love the holiday season, as you can see. It shows Hello Pumpkin. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new, please trust in me. I will be back. I will be back next month, and I will try to be consistent in my video reviews. But you can always check me out on Instagram. Be sure to hit the like. I haven't done this in so long. Hit the like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Just Read VI signing out.